Hey guys, I'm outside today and it's raining, but I decided to go on a walk, and I wanted to make an audio today about staying true to yourself and ultimately trusting yourself. I feel like there's been so many situations that's happened over the past couple of months and days that's just had me questioning myself, questioning if I've made the right decision, questioning if I'm who God really says I am, questioning if I'm built for this, questioning if I can make this next step. And this morning I was talking to God about it, and he reminded me of all the little things that I did that showed that I trusted myself. I was telling God that I don't trust myself. I can't even trust the decisions I make. Like, how am I going to do this? And he brought up all of these scenarios, and it was so many. And he was like, maybe this was a little way that you overlooked. Maybe this was a little way that you didn't think was significant enough, but you trusted yourself. When you made that decision, you trusted yourself. When you picked those class times, you trusted yourself. When you chose to pay for this way, you trusted yourself. When you told me about something, you trusted yourself. And so God says there's no way that we can possibly trust him if we don't trust ourselves. God told me, yes, the Holy Spirit put in your heart for you to get closer to me, but you had to trust yourself and trust your intuition and trust that spirit within you in order to get into communion with me, because God gives us free will. So he did not force me to be in a relationship with him, but I had to trust myself in order to take that next step. And so in a lot of ways we discredit ourselves, or we don't give ourselves enough credit when we make these decisions and we think, oh, well, this was just an external force, or it just happened this way. But a lot of this comes down to self-trust, and there's no way you can move forward in the future. There's no way that you can progress in life if you can't trust yourself. And I believe that with me, I do trust myself, but then I second guess my decisions a lot. And so God really reassured me this morning and was just telling me about how, even though it might seem like I made the wrong decision, even though it might seem like I did something that wasn't in my best interest, it was, and that he works everything out for our good. And sometimes we limit God to our human selves. We limit God to how we are. Sorry if you hear anything in the background, I'm outside. But sometimes we limit God to how we are, and how much limits we have on ourselves as humans, and we forget that God is limitless. And so even if we trusted ourselves and we made the wrong decision, we need to trust that he can take that decision and turn it around for our good, right? God can always make detours. God can always work around our failures, because we're fickle and we're human, and he knows that. And so he gives grace for that. And a lot of us haven't been giving grace to ourselves. But I'm telling you, on this journey of self-discovery, on this journey with God, on this journey of working towards your purpose, you cannot successfully go through this journey. You cannot make it very far if all you're going to do is beat yourself up every time you make a mistake. And I'm planning on purchasing this book. It's called The Grief Handbook, and it's talks about how to learn how to navigate grievances, like things that you lost. And so one of the topics is how to grieve the life that you thought you were going to have, or how to grieve past opportunities or things that you lost. And so a lot of the times we make decisions, or we have certain opportunities that come up and we miss them. We miss the mark. And a lot of us still haven't recovered from that grief of feeling like, if I had just done this, it would have been this way. If I had just chose this, my life would have looked differently. And yeah, that might be the case, but God has grace for that. And he can literally change any situation around in any direction whenever he feels like it. And so you have to trust that if God is allowing you to make that decision for yourself, that he knows how to work it around for your good and for his glory. So moving on to this next chapter of our lives and moving forward into our futures and progressing and being more like Christ, we have to learn to trust ourselves. And even when we make mistakes, there is grace for that. Who are we not to give ourselves grace when God gives us grace? Sometimes in those little ways we exalt ourselves over God, because we think, oh, well, I don't deserve grace. But if God says you do, who are you to say that you don't? And so I think it's really, really, really important to remember that we only have one life, and we're all living it for the first time. We only have one life, and we're all making decisions for the first time. So if you make a mistake, or if you thought you were making the right choice for yourself and it ended up being the wrong choice, there is grace for that. And I truly do understand how difficult it is to trust in something or to make a decision for something and it not go the way you expected it to go. But we cannot ruminate in our failures. We cannot ruminate in our shortcomings. We have to trust that God can do something with those failures.